not work with the console. Do not. They don't. They're going to be using infrastructure as code. It's kind of easier. It's also something that, let's say I leave the organization, somebody comes, they just look at the code, and then they can start over from there. So these are the tools that are at the disposal. AWS coming. This is specific to AWS. You can see it's just looking at AWS and giving me suggestions on AWS. Alone. On the side, it's just the other resources on AWS. Probably whatever is here also is on AWS. So this is one of the tools that you can use when you're in AWS and you know some of the resources that you want to create to be able to create the resources. So it's going to give you the code. You can just tweak the code depending on what you want. So let's say you want to launch 5 instances. So then you can just change the minimum number. You want 10, you can just alter that. You want this operating system, you can, those are the alterations that you just want to make. So essentially, that is what I wanted to show you. I don't know if there is anybody with a question in regards to what we've just said. Kuna mtu ako na swali? Okay. Oh, open source or, all right. So to answer you, this tool is free. Most of these tools are free. But I'll need just to log into AWS, and then using the tool is free. So what is happening here, let me just show you something. I've linked my AWS account with my VS Code, which is my editor. So if I type something like AWS S3 LS, there's a service in AWS called S3, which is a simple storage service. It's kind of a resource where you can host your resources. Let's say your files and the like. It's a bucket-like. So if I type that, listing, LS in Linux is listing, you can see something comes up. So these, like the buckets that I have, if I go to the console, let me just show you. You can see essentially what we've just done. If we type S3, the same output in the console should be, or the output on the console should be the same as what we just saw in the terminal. So essentially it's free, but it's using AWS, so you have to interconnect. Code Whisper is free. When you're using it for your trials, it's free, but you just need to create an account with AWS. What do you need when you're creating an account? It's just credit card, but they will not charge you. There are resources that are called, there are resources that fall under the free tier. Free tier meaning they give you access for the next 1 year to a resource for free. I can host my web server for free for the next 1 year. I can host a database in AWS for 1 year for free without them charging. But as soon as that ends, then they start charging depending on their rate. And you can be able to just find the market rate of how much they charge. Let me just show you something. If I come here, you can look at this. This is a server. Essentially, it's the specs of a server that is going to be running in AWS. It's free tier. What is the actual cost for running this for the next 1 hour? So let me highlight this. So if you look at Linux, it's 0.0132. So that's the actual cost of running your server in AWS for 1 hour. So you multiply by 12, it's going to be probably less than $1 in the next 1 hour. So those are the charged services, but essentially most of the services are free. For trial, not forever, for trial. Yep. The other question was? Whether in class. So in training, you're going to be given an environment similar to this. Again, it's given to you by AWS to practice. So it's called Sandbox. So they give you this account, and then you can do all the practices that you want. It has a certain, let's say, duration, 3 hours. After 3 hours, they're going to terminate the environment and delete your resources. So essentially, it's like a dummy. It's not dummy, but it has actual resources but it's just as a time duration that you can use. So essentially when you come, you don't need to install anything, including, let's say you do not have Linux. I can just create a machine, a virtual machine in cloud, and then connect to it and work with it as Linux. Code editor, I've used one, I have one offline. This is free, but AWS has theirs. It's called Cloud9. So you can also use their code editor to write code and do everything. So essentially it's like they have everything, but when you come to the program, you're going to be given the resources to work, whether it's databases, whether it's security tools. AWS will provide you with that. And thank you for that question. Any other questions? Right, yep.
I feel like when you are talking, I just feel like you cannot do this AWS without the knowledge of software development and in that line. Because I feel that your terms are too technical. You cannot just develop search without that knowledge. That's true?
Might not be true if I ask you. My background, what do you think my background is? What did I study in the university? Unfortunately, I did procurement and supply chain management. Yes, that's the course that I did. So I did procurement, practiced a little bit, and then shifted to things to do with this. When the first time I started learning cloud was 2021, I think. So essentially, you just need to devote time. You just need to devote time to learn. And that's why I said a little bit of background is required. The other thing is interest. If I can show you, it's only that we do not have time, but if I show you essentially where we start at, in week 1, we are learning a CPU, RAM, what else? Hard disks. So those are the things that we learn in week 1. So you see, it's kind of incremental. When we get to Python, the first lesson, which is around 45, 1 hour, we print hello world. I can print hello world in a matter of 10 seconds. That is a lesson dedicated for 1 hour. So essentially, we just start from scratch. When you get in, you are able to copy, and then you just need to have interest. But anybody, I can tell you, can be able to do this. Yes. Any other question? One last one? None, eh? All right. So thank you very much. Essentially, that is what we do. We welcome you all to register. You can just go through the process of registration, come to the interview. Also, you can ask more questions on the interview. There is, if you click on the link, let me just show you something. You can also find a mail that you can respond, or you can send your questions on that mail. Let me see if I can be able to open this. There is this email at the on this form that you can be able to send your questions, or you can even write this mail. It's support at aws.agiroemobilis.org. So if you have any question in regards to restart, that is the mail that you can send your questions to. And I promise you somebody would be kind enough to respond to your questions probably within a few hours, if not within a day. So thank you very much. I want to hand it over to Chris. Yes. I would say self-study. Something is AWS as AWS YouTube is free, and they don't do what? They don't have adverts. So let me show you a link to a site that you can always check. It's called let's see if we can get. So Stash, AWS Stash. Any resource. I mentioned something to do with S3. Assuming you know what S3 is. You just come and type S3, and then on the side there are resources that you can use. You want YouTube and the latest ones for 2023, and then you have access to that. So I can open YouTube, and here is a YouTube video that is going to take me, it's a link taking me to
Welcome everyone. I hope you're having a great Reinforce. If you're here, it's because
you can see there are no adverts. So this is the other platform that you can make use AWS YouTube. It's free and a little bit in depth, and also the documentation. But this is the place that you can try. The other one is Skills Builder, AWS Skills Builder. It's also the other platform that you can use to learn. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Felix Mulei, for that wonderful presentation. Let's clap for Felix. Yeah, that is powerful. So, to maybe add on one comment, I also did supply chain management. But kwa mtandao, R programming, starter, EVs, in the freelancing career, that is what really has done me a lot. Sijaitumia hiyo logistics kwa nilieka kiasi kando. So, but ni pole pole. You see we have resources. There are platforms where you can learn for free. So, thank you so much, Mr. Felix, again for that wonderful presentation. We move to the next, the next session. That's where we are going to create the AI community. So, the program that was shared earlier, towards the end of this meetup, we were to create an AI community. So we were to create that on LinkedIn. So we create a group on LinkedIn for AI community in Kenya. Then we also create the community, that is now the AI community in the Ajira digital portal. So we start with the LinkedIn page, and this time I wish to invite a volunteer among yourself. So, because we wish it to be done by you, maybe a volunteer to come forward, create a LinkedIn page, and then the rest of us, we are going to follow. Is that okay? After that is then we go to the other part where now we shall onboard you to the portal, so the AI community in the Ajira digital portal. So any volunteer atakuja na laptop. Kama una laptop, we can use ya Felix mwenye akona LinkedIn account. So any volunteer mwenye akona, najua mko na LinkedIn ama mko TikTok, mko na LinkedIn pia. Najua mko LinkedIn, kila mtu ako LinkedIn na pia ako TikTok labda, sidio? Instagram, kila mahali. So any volunteer, and then you can just use the laptop here. We can the laptop that is here. We log in, we'll show you how to create a LinkedIn page. We'll have to rename it. Na jina pia sijui jina tutaipia gani? AI community in Kenya. So we are going maybe to have to debate on that. So any volunteer? Ama to create? Okay, yeah. Maybe you can come forward. Felix, I request maybe we use your laptop. You can go to LinkedIn. Okay, so what he's going to do is just log in to his platform. user account, that is a LinkedIn account. Once you are in your LinkedIn account or profile, you can create a LinkedIn page. You can also create a LinkedIn group. You can create a group on LinkedIn. So who can tell me the difference between a page and a group on LinkedIn? Now, which one are we supposed to create? So there is a slight difference between a LinkedIn page and also a LinkedIn group. So the LinkedIn page is used for marketing purposes. Yeah, like a company, if you have a company, you create a page to market. So it's more towards marketing. LinkedIn group is mostly used for networking, where the professionals come together, people who share the same idea, and then they are able to network. So it helps the networking forums. So which one can we create? On that note, we're going to create group. Okay. So to create a LinkedIn group, where do we go? Click on the home, discover more.
Yeah, discover more. Then you can see groups. You can see pages. Already you have 2 groups, so you can click on groups. Then create a group. Yeah, simple as that. So now group name inspiring. That's just an example of a name that you can have. So which name are we going to have? Suggest Gina. It's quick cash group. So
AI community in Kenya. What community? It must be related. Yeah, to the context that we are operating. Because this is a meetup of AI. AI community Kenya. So do we have another suggestion or you want this one? Suggestion? We adapt this one. Okay, thank you. AI community Kenya. Uko suggestion to adapt. Let any suggestion. So description. Somebody put in a description, one sentence. Less than 1 minute. So what about the AI community Kenya? What do we do? What do we stand for? We need to have some sort of description so that you can create that page or that group. So maybe you can write here we are AI tech enthusiast in Kenya, looking forward for what is the ambition, probably of maybe group. What is the ambition or the mission? So we are AI tech enthusiasts in Kenya looking. The last part of that sentence to be complete. So that whenever anyone goes to LinkedIn, they find, they browse through AI communities,